What's going on, Bill?
Michelangelo, how are you?
I'm doing well. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, huh? Did you speak to Francine?
I did. I saw her message this morning when I woke up like 10 minutes ago.
Okay, what do you want me to do? You asked me something about this morning or something, I don't know. What do you want
Yeah.
to do?
I didn't let her know yet, but I'm good to take care of the rest of it if you want to knock off whatever you can.
Yeah, we'll do the one because we only really hold that for guys that do it in the first 30 days. So we'll just I'll do it now actually while we're here. All on the same card.
Yep, same card.
So should be what are we looking at, buddy, while I'm doing this?
So my main offer is pretty much just helping people with their personal finances. So people come to us, they have debt. It's like 50-50. Some people have debt and want to begin investing also. Other people are well off and just want to start investing. So long story short, we get a lot of couples on the phone, and usually one person in the couple who follows the influencer, and like they book the call, they drag the other one to the call. Obviously finances is a pretty joint decision, so like the pre-call sequence is pretty solid on getting them both there, but a lot of times one of them is just naturally cold. So this call is like kind of a small example. The wife was at one point objection handling for me. She has questions before I could even answer it. But yeah, I don't know how you handle it if you like pin them against each other. I was rewatching the call. Like there was a couple points earlier on. The wife was saying that finances like keeps her up at night. And so I don't know if I should just use that against the husband, be like, dude, I know you said you don't care, but like your wife's not able to sleep at night because your finances.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Where is it? It's in my things or something.
It's in your DMs.
DM. Let's have a look. Mr. Michael Lopez. All right. Bottom. Jack Sicker, what's going on with you, buddy? Just wake up out of bed.
What's up?
Just go back to bed when I met you.
No. I was just outside. I gotta take a shower though. You're talking about my hair?
Just talking about how much of a train wreck you are. Right, Michael. Let me know if you can hear this now.
But I realized that like if the goal were to retire earlier than that, maybe those aren't the most advantageous from a tax perspective. So trying to really understand if the services that you guys offer can not only help us to achieve those.
Okay, so give me a rundown. So these are husband and wife or partner and wife or whatever else?
Yeah, so these people in particular have some debt. I want to say like 40 grand in debt. They don't track their money. So yeah, the way that we help people pay off their debt is just by like creating a budget for themselves, having a personal balance sheet. So yeah, have that debt, want to begin investing. Husband is the cold spouse in this one. It looks like Wolverine.
All right, who's the breadwinner? Both?
They both have pretty decent jobs. I think they make 200 grand a year.
Between them?
Yeah, 250 between them.
Okay, so 125 each. Okay. So the issue that you're coming up against is she's fully bought in and he's not, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And right now it's not, it is risk averse because it's those Vanguard accounts, but are there different routes we could be taking, as far as, other investment routes that might get us there faster? That's more or less why we're contacting him.
Gotcha. Okay, so for what you currently have invested, is it like your company's managing the 401k, or do you have a partner like allocating the portfolio, like you have a brokerage account where you're investing in certain ETFs?
Yeah, and I'll speak for my own. I mean, we can manage at our own discretion within those employment terms, like within the plans that are provided to us.
But they've specified the funds that are available within each of our like employer managed accounts for sure. And then I had like a 401k from a prior job that rather than rolling it into my new company's accounts, I just put it in an account like on the Vanguard website with the intention of like, maybe we'll do something with this, but we just never have, just sat there. So yeah.
Okay. So let's get like some numbers on paper, like where we're currently at in terms of getting rid of the debt. Obviously, the
Question there, very, very simple, Mikey, is, well, do you want it just sat there? Why not? What's so wrong with it just being sat there? Is it benefit your life just sat there, or is it causing you a little bit of stress? Because it's like your money that you're not utilizing, right? So you gotta keep dripping these in, because this builds up that, you know, equity in the conversation to then start laying it on a bit thicker at the end. I mean, you gotta pick those little pieces up.
So,
those are
right now, if you had to guesstimate the household income for the both of you, what does that look like?
Like 360
Yeah, probably minimum 360,000.
Okay.
Gross.
gross. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then in terms of debt, can you walk me through how that's allocated? Mortgage, credit cards, cars?
Yes. So we own his truck. My vehicle is I think we owe like 45,000 on it right now. We definitely have student loans. That's been a big one. I think we just paid off like a portion of that. So give me just one sec, because I had like taken some of the templates from the website, or that Brendan provided somehow, and started to fill some of the stuff. Never really, if you retire, it's much later. It's like the max age. So I mean, I think we're at the place where it's like, if I could literally retire tomorrow, I would. We know we have a ways to go, so we're just like, I guess that's part of this. Could we realistically figure out what we could actually achieve?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, just to shoot straight with you guys, like given the income, like where we're at, we should have more investments, and we shouldn't have this much in debt. So I guess in terms of intentionality with your excess money, how is it allocated? Like, are we going to put this to the debt, this to investments? Like, do we have like that type of structure idea in place?
So as of right now, as far as investments are concerned, we're just like putting the maximum into our retirement accounts as far as like what does the IRS allow on an annual basis. And so
Totally.
Just need to like focus on the what can we do.
I can respect that a lot. Like, I grew up in an immigrant family where that same thing of like, no, we're not going on this trip. Like, we're not getting this for Christmas. And so, of course, I'm a little bit younger, but I know I could have that same mindset. Like, I want to give my family. I just feel like we can teach our kids a lot by walking through this process ourselves. And I think like we're smart people. We could probably start somewhere and figure something out. And so, you know, the reason for really reaching out is just trying to ensure that we're maximizing those efforts and getting the most out of that time and effort that we can. Because we fully acknowledge and understand that, like, we both have accounting degrees. I don't work in accounting, I work in audit, but he's a CPA, like, does corporate accounting every day. But when it's just very different to be focusing on like corporate financials, other people's books. I don't know, like, isn't that like always the story? It's like the people who do this stuff are the ones who don't want to look at their own. That's normal. I hate to completely normalize it for you, but like, we find that a lot. Like, a lot of sometimes it's entrepreneurs where it's like, oh, I can like help other people, but then it comes down to myself, and like, I don't have that same discipline. So
no worries.
All right. Sometimes we need other people just gonna help us hold our feet to the fire a little bit. So I mean, outside of like the numbers, like obviously we want to become debt free as soon as possible. Like, we want our investing accounts to look more, but like outside of just like the numbers themselves, what makes this important to you guys now?
I think
when you say that, I want you to put a bit of spice on it, and I want you to do it exactly like this, because yes, we all want to maximize our investments, our money. Yes, we all want to have nicer things. That's reality. Okay, I think we can all agree that. But you two are very clever. You know, you have good degrees, and you have good jobs. You're making good income as a family. So why now? You know, yes, we can have nice things and all that great stuff, but I want to know, like, is there something that's driving this for you guys today? Like now, not doing it next year or next week or 10 years down the road. Like, why now, today? Why are we here? What am I doing with that, Mikey? I'm allowing them space to stop talking surface to come down. Because when they come down, buddy, that's when you're going to have an honest conversation. And you drip in that stuff and you take away. That's like takeaway objections. So we just want to have nice things. So we just want to have this. Like giving them a compliment, but it's like a boomerang. I'm giving them a compliment for them to come back with me. Do you know what I mean? I'm throwing it out for them not to be offended, but I'm also giving them the space to come back to tell me what the hell is going on and why. And when I speak like that and I slow it down and I give them compliments and I take away the objections and I take away the buzzwords that they're going to tell me, what's left? Only the truth. That's what I want. Okay, so I want when you do things like that, I want you to kind of be a little bit more intentional with how you say it, and have the ideas of what you want them.
When you say enjoyment of life, what do you mean by that?
Just having the time flexibility. Like we don't have to work forever, or we don't have to work full time forever, and we can go out and do the things we really love doing more.
See, so now you're going to get an awful lot of what? Buzzwords. You know, you're going to get an awful lot of surfaces. We just have more time. We just want to enjoy. We just don't want to work forever. We just want to go out in the boats. We just want to fly to Vegas. We just want to do things. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually love my job. I do, but I don't want to spend my whole life doing that. Like spending the majority of my time every day doing that. I have a lot of other things I'm like passionate about and would love to.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna say that, like in that scenario, let's say you get set up, you're paying off your debt quicker, you're just having more structure, more intentionality with everything. And like, you know exactly when you'll be able to retire, you'll be comfortable like in that scenario. How does that feel for you compared to kind of where we're at right now?
An exhale.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by an Excel?
Just, I guess just, it's very comforting. Like having that in place would feel very,
Take the worry
take the
off.
worry away. I'm just like high strung in general. But if I know there's a plan, if I know I'm doing the right things to get there, like if I know what the end date is, I just generally function better. I'm happier.
Yeah.
It makes it easier on the bad days to remember your why. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I
I feel like
guess
that's
that's,
really not answering this question.
no, not at all. Not at all. So I mean, I guess that's the top of the mountain per se, like just having that peace of mind.
That was
You
weak.
gotta go down, buddy.
Yeah.
So they gave you pain. Keep going with the pain. Can I ask, like, how do you kind of feel today? I know you said that on your bad days that it will help. How do you kind of feel typically on your bad days? And I don't want you to tell me that like the world is against you and all that kind of stuff. But just, you know, how do you feel? You know, and you may not tell your husband all this, and you may not want him to know, but like, how do you feel? She'll tell you, and then you can go to him and you can say, like, how does it feel hearing that from your wife? Then I can start playing them off each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
think she goes.
you gotta. What's
That
that?
was. I said I think she goes there in the inaction, but that was a super weak future pace.
Correct.
You
Yeah,
gotta dig
but
in.
you also have to bring him as well. You know what I mean? You also have to bring him with you.
Throughout the whole call, you bring it in with me, like every single question.
You have to bring him with you, because if you don't, buddy, he's not going to get bought into the conversation. So you have to be bringing him with you. How does it feel hearing this from your wife? What do you want? Like, what would you want your wife to have? But also, what would you want to have in your own life? So you have to do the conversation twice, if that makes sense. You play them off each other.
And because people come through, they usually know like they're not, this is like a get rich quick scheme, right? It's not like become a millionaire in 6 months. But a lot of times it is about that peace of mind. Like I'm gonna get to that point where we're paying off the debt, we have a plan in place, we know we're going to retire comfortably. That is kind of like a little bit of a cheesy question, if you will, but I would just kind of like to get it from like a value perspective. I mean, if you don't do anything, right? Is that something that you're, I guess, all right with? Like, what does that scenario look like?
What was the question?
Like if we don't do anything, if we don't do
You gotta take it away though, buddy. Is like, look, the other side of this is you don't do anything. You're just gonna have the life that you have right now. It's not a bad life, it's a great life. You know, you make lots of money. Good for you guys. But you're also living with this amount of stress. You know, and it's all rosy out there, you know. And everyone sees the nice cars and sees the good job, and but they don't see when the door closes, as you mentioned. And I can only say that when they tell me that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got the surface, you got to dig, you got to go all the way down, buddy. You have to have a little bit of confidence in yourself to do that too, you know, to be able to open up. And you got to change, you know, how you speak. Not like, I don't want you to be the, you know, auditioning for a part, but like if you want emotion and you want them to be emotional in terms of telling you the emotional answers, you got to insert it, you know, because it's all surface. I think that alone will help. I think you have like lots of the framework, which is perfect. But now it's like, yes, I have the base. Now it's a case of, okay, how do I get the next bit? Do you know what I mean? It's like, how do I develop this? How do I understand? How do I pull and drag?
Yeah. It's like kind of pulling the strings that are lined up.
So you go negative there, keep going negative, negative, negative. Then you can flip it back positive. The other side of this is that you don't feel A, B, C, D, E anymore. And you are actually, you know, getting out of this. What does that look like? That's a future pace question too. You know, where you're not necessarily feeling 1, 2, and 3. What's the opposite of this? What do you want to feel? Okay, can I ask like whose responsibility is whether we close the gap? And now we're into that. Whose responsibility is this? Who's going to draw a line in the sand? Who's in control of this? What are you guys going to do that's going to get you there? but now I went that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I don't want to confuse you anymore. I don't want to give you any more, but I think if you just figure that like piece out, that would help. See what I was doing last week in terms of like, once you get the emotion in future pace, ideal lifestyle, you have to keep going down, down, down to be able to flip back, to go back up to up, and then you go back down in the responsibility, control, certainty, who's going to make a change, X, Y, and Z.
Okay. And in terms of just the couples, I need to be asking both of them pretty much every question.
Have to, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're just going to speak to one person, and then you're going to get to the end of the conversation, and that person looks at that person's like, yeah, let's have a little think about this. Let's get back to them, because they're not bought into the conversation, because you're not involving them. You know what I mean? The only person that's involving them in the conversation was her. You know what I mean? You have to be. Can I ask you, Paul? Like, what's your thought when you hear this? Can I ask you, Sarah? Like, what do you think of when Paul said this? So it's the trifecta. You're in a triangle and you're all moving around. Understand what I'm saying to you? That's how you open up patterns.
It's like sometimes it feels like couples counseling, but even when you say it like that, it's like, how do you feel about that? Kind of ask them, bounce it off each other.
What you're doing.
And
That's
if,
what it is most of the time.
and if they disagree, do you like pin them against each other, or is it do I just focus on the one person, on the cold one?
No. If they disagree, don't lean into the disagreement, meaning like trying to prove them wrong. It's more of a case of asking questions. Why would you feel it this way? Can I ask? What would make you believe that this is the right way? Can I ask? You know, more asking rather than making statements. You know what I mean? And then you ask Sarah, what do you hear what do you think when you hear that, Sarah? Do you know what I mean? Like you're just asking rather than telling, but you've got to move the conversation around. You've got to keep speaking to different people to allow the person in, which is what I didn't say. Because what'll happen is you'll keep going down that road, and next minute when you pitch, she'll look at him, he'll say, let's think about it, and then she won't move forward. That's what will happen.
That's exactly what happened. And then she texted me like an hour later asking for like $1,000 off, because she might be able to get him in for 4K, but obviously
Get who in for 4K.
She was like, yeah, I think I can get Cody in if you could drop it $1,000. She's like, I really want to do it. I was like, I'm sorry, we can't do that. But
yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because he wasn't bought in. Like he didn't see the value in it. That's what I'm saying to you. I knew exactly what was going to happen here when I was just looking at this.
that's exactly what he
That's
said.
how it all played out. Yeah.
He didn't see the value in it. Yeah.
I told you.
He thought he could do it himself.
Yeah. I told you that's the issue. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Lack of value is just not having enough equity in the conversation. Like he didn't feel.
Yeah, he just couldn't give a bollocks. Why? Because he's just there because his wife told him to be there. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate it, Bill.
But you have to allow him to get in. Like you have to open up the door for him. You know. We'll work on it. But I think just making those adjustments will really help right off the bat. You know, just being able to interact that person in there, but also when it opens up, the buzzword, being able to go down through it. And that's key, most if you aren't able to do it. Excuse me. Yeah, that's a key one. Okay, Davey, what's going on, big dog?
What's happening?
How are
So two things. Doing good. Two things, but the main one is on the topic of value as well. I'm having a hard time objection handling because there is no value. And
meaning
I think
there's no
that's
value on what you're offering.
Yeah, like they still see it as a commodity. Like they still see that like, oh, I can go somewhere else and it's the same, right? So I think that's a North Star thing. Like I'm not finding that. So I need to start learning that. But before that, I just want you to kind of overview what I'm doing right now to see if you have an input. So the pillars I have are the coverage, which will allow like the policy to actually be able to pay out when something happens. The second pillar is the company having money to actually be able to pay out. And the third pillar, which ties the coverage and the company together so that I can fight for you to actually get the coverage, get the money that you deserve. And then in addition to the third pillar, it's like, I save you time. You don't have to talk to a robot, 1-800 number. You have a direct line to me. Anytime you have questions, you call me. And my trouble is building value there because that's how I differentiate myself between all the other companies. But after I go through that, what do I ask? Like, is that a value to you? Like, how do I lock that in so that they see value in that one-on-one connection?
You asked the question now, which would you rather for your own security and your own, insurance? Would you rather be able to speak to me as a person who you can have my personal number, or would you rather speak to some artificial intelligence like everyone else? Which do you think?
Of course,
probably
I'd rather
best?
talk to you, but it just depends on the price.
No, it doesn't depend on the price because we're just asking the simple question first. And we can definitely, like, honestly, I'm not going to say that, but like, if it is, I just want to talk about one thing first. I think the second thing that you're talking about, I don't think has to be brought into the third step, meaning like, I'm going to fight for you to get the investment, because when you say things like that, that gives me doubt.
Mhm.
Because you shouldn't have to fight to get something you're entitled to, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I don't want you to
Right.
basically tell people, I'm going to fight for you because I'm going to make sure that you're going to get every single dollar that you deserve and that you want it. If you have to say that, then the person is going to be like, hold on a second, like, is this going to be a problem if something does tragically happen? Because then the second point that you just spoke about, well, our company has all this liquid cash, X, Y, and Z, that completely wipes that out then, doesn't it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if
Yeah,
I tell you first, like the bank that we use are like the best, we have all the best interest rates in X, Y, and Z. The third thing I'm going to say is like, if anything happens for you, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that you get every cent that you owe. It's kind of like, well, hold on a second, like I thought we were the best bank. Isn't this not like a formality? Just crossing off some boxes and sending me out a check. You know what I mean? But you
Right.
don't ever want to insert doubt, which is what you did. I would sell you over a computer on the third one. But again, it's also about what's in it for the person,
So I
Like,
think the
what is
reason I
it
bring
that you're
that up,
selling that's differentiating from everything else in the market?
so that the differentiation is it saves them time, like when they have to file a claim. And it's easier, less stress, and they know what to do.
So how are you selling that then?
By just
That's
saying
what
that.
you're selling. Yeah, but how are you selling that? Like, is that what the key, like you didn't say any of that when it was the pillars?
Well, that's like a cap, like a short synopsis. It depends on like how much buy-in I get. Like if I need to elaborate more, I'll elaborate more. So I guess what you're saying, start with that instead.
You would have a big promise, and then the pillars would be how you're going to do it. If that makes sense.
Okay. So I guess how do you feel about this? Because something I occasionally say is almost every company is the same. Right? State Farm is one of those that has a lot more money. But at the end of the day, an insurance company doesn't want to do what? They don't want to pay, right? As much, or they don't want to pay as much as they have to. And that's where I come in. And then that's why I frame it like that, so that it's kind of believable, because in my industry, a lot of people think like, oh, and insurance is not going to want to pay. Like, that's just I guess, a belief, So I agree to that belief. And then I say, this is why we're different. Not because of the company, but because of me.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you feel like that would
we
backfire?
can say that, but we could all, no, it just depends on like what you're trying to get across. I mean, I didn't know any of that stuff. So what I would be saying is, now look, the thing with insurance company is, they tell you that they're going to pay out, but the problem with it, David, is people don't know how to claim properly. What I mean by that is you think it's just a case of clicking some buttons and automatically you get a check. That's not how it works. So what I want to do is I want to take away the guesswork. I want to actually be responsible for what you get paid. but I also want to be there to answer any questions, issues, problems you may have. And if that time ever does happen, I want to make sure that you got me in your corner to be able to process this right, so you get every single cent that you owe. Okay, how does that sound? Does that
Sounds
sound
good.
better, Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you gotta take away the fear, but you also gotta build up the idea of why. What do you mean? Like the fear is
Yeah, that
that
makes sense.
like giving them the fear of like they may not get what they want because all they think about is just clicking some buttons. So what am I going to do that's going to be different? Well, I just outlined it. I don't sell insurance, but that's how I would sell it.
Okay. And you just
Yeah.
add that to the third pillar, right?
No, I would add it as the first step. So this is what I guarantee. This is what we do. Now, how I'm going to be able to guarantee that I'm going to deliver that is number one, I'm going to be able to first pillar, and number two, I'm going to be able to do this. And number three, I'm with you every step of the way. This is my own personal number. I'm here night and day. There's no issues. You contact me if you're not happy with anything or anything is stressing you out. Okay, now in
that
terms of
makes
all of
sense.
that, do you feel like that is a little bit different than what you could probably buy on the internet? Do you think that level of service and care is something that you know that can protect your family moving forward? Would you want your family to have that level of certainty moving forward? Okay. And then we're moving.
Got it. Okay. Let me implement that.
All right. Okay, Jackie Sick, are you okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just here to learn.
That's what's up. Right. Okay, ladies. I'll see you later. All right. Adios.
Bill, did
Thank
you
you,
run
Bill.
that?
Mikey, let me know how that goes. Davey, let me know how that goes. Just tidy it up a tiny bit, buddy. You know, that's what I would do. So go back, rewatch this, and let me know how it goes from there.
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
Okay. All right, guys. See you later. Hey, come here, Davey. Actually, fucking nice.
Bill, did
Right,
you
see you
did
later.
you run the rest of that?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was like 78. That clears it out of 17 instead of 18.
Okay, cool.
Pretty sure. All right, buddy. I'll see you later. Let me know how that goes, but like go down, keep going down. You know what I mean? It was there for you. That sale was there for you.
It
Later
was.
on. Yeah.
Have that
She
real
was fully bought
conversation.
in.
Yeah.
He's fully bought in. You just had to get him involved as well. And have that deeper meaning connection and that conversation. That would have worked. That should have been a sale, no stress. Easy.
I'll get
Because they had enough money to be able to do it. They wanted to do it. Do you know what I mean? But he didn't see it because you didn't involve him. And you didn't. And how he would get involved too is by seeing the pain that this big cloud of debt is causing his wife and himself. Because nobody wants to tell you that. Nobody wants to allow people to know that. But once it's out in the open, you have to do two things. You either confront it or you back off and you get afraid of it. That's when the objection handling happens, because now it's like, well, look, we can either confront it and overcome it together, or you can just keep doing what you're doing. You're still always going to have it, like, which makes more sense. See how like the objection handling becomes easier now because there's just two binary options. Yeah.
Yeah. The value conversation is not a fun not a fun one to have. Yeah.
Correct. All right.
Correct.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Appreciate you, bro. Bye.
All right, buddy. Bye bye.